Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and you're watching Paleo 101, where we talk about fossils, minerals, and everything recorded in the Earth's rocks. Today, on October 15th, 2016, is going to be National Fossil Day and Earth Science Week. And I wanted to briefly talk about how I got interested in paleontology and in geology and where I want to be now. First of all, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Cameron, and I'm a time traveler. Now, I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but yes, indeed, I am a time traveler. I use fossils and rocks around me to interpret the Earth's past. And every time I pick up a rock or fossil, I travel back in time. Now, of course, you don't have a time machine that literally go back in time to the past, but we use rocks and fossils in order to determine what the Earth's past was like millions or billions of years ago. So that's what I am. I'm a time traveler. I got really into fossils at a very early age, and I got interested in dinosaurs and paleontology at an early age. I saw my first dinosaur skeleton at a airport at Hartsfield Jackson Airport in Georgia, and it was a large skeleton of a Yangchuangosaurus, and that's a large allosaur-like dinosaur that lived during the late Jurassic period. The first museum I ever went to was the Fernbank Museum of Natural History, located in Decatur, Georgia, where we saw large skeletons of these two Argentinian dinosaurs from South America, Giganotosaurus and Argentinosaurus, that lived around 95 million years ago during the Cretaceous period. And I was really into dinosaurs. I received my first dinosaur toy and my first dinosaur book, so I started to really get into paleontology and dinosaurs at a pretty early age. So that really had a large impact on my life. I started to really get into fossils when I found my first fossil in third grade. It was dumped material in the back of a trailer. It was dumped material of shale, of the sedimentary rock shale, and I found my first fossil, and it was a trilobite. So I found my first fossil that time when I just started looking for stuff, and my friend gave me a book on fossils, and I identified the fossil as a trilobite, and it was amazing. And I had a good teachers who back then, probably in second grade and kindergarten, who really knew I was into dinosaurs and fossils and minerals and all that kind of material. I was really into it, and I'm still into it now. That's why I want to become a paleontologist and a geologist anyway. It was a large impact on my life that led a large imprint on my life, and so yeah, that's really what it was that really triggered it. Um, so yeah, I told my parents I want to be a paleontologist and a geologist at a really early age. I was that typical kid who was really into dinosaurs, and I was bullied a lot in school. I was bullied through elementary, through middle school, parts of high school, but middle school was the worst. I was just bullied. I got my dinosaur stuff, my dinosaur research thrown in the garbage. Dinosaur books ripped up by bullies. I've had fossils broken on purpose. But yeah, that was a sad moment because I was bullied. I was that typical kid who really didn't fit in with others, and I was bullied a lot, pushed around a lot. But I had other teachers back then who really saw my passion for paleontology, and I just kept going. They really saw what I'm capable of. They saw my potential in that particular field of science and science in general, and so they encouraged me to become a geologist and paleontologist, and so did my parents as well. Around age 9, I was diagnosed with a form of autism called Asperger syndrome, and that is a mild form of autism. People with autism, they tend to get focused. They tend to get really obsessed or focused with particular subjects, and so mine was paleontology. But other kids who have Asperger syndrome or autism spectrum disorder, like I do, they sometimes focus on video games, books, cars, movies, a particular kind of subject in science, such as like physics or evolutionary biology or whatever it may be. And paleontology and geology was basically my route. It was basically my escape route. So if bullies were picking on me, if I was getting targeted by jerks in school, I would turn to paleontology and geology as an escape route, and that's still what I do today. If I feel depressed or anything of that nature, I turn to paleontology and I turn to my fossil and mineral and collection, and I dive into my passion, and that's exactly what I do, and it's helped me very very well throughout my life. And right now I'm 18 years old. I go to Duluth High School, and I am a senior, and I'm working my butt off trying to graduate and hopefully start my career as a paleontologist. For now, I really started to get really into fossils, and I'm just extremely passionate about paleontology, ladies and gentlemen, because fossils are just amazing and minerals are amazing. I mean, you're holding something that's millions of years old. This is a plant fossil from the Hell Creek Formation. So this is around 66 million years old, and you can see this is a plant fossil right here. This comes from the Hell Creek Formation, as I said. This is just an amazing fossil. absolutely amazing. And so this came from an environment of a swamp-like environment that was around 66 million years ago, during the late Cretaceous. I mean, this plant is encased in stone, and it's around 66, 67 million years old, right at the time the dinosaurs disappeared. So that's an amazing fossil. I mean, fossils are incredible, and so again, fossils, like I said, fossils are amazing, and I've a lot of people have helped me along the way to express my passion for paleontology. In 2015, I was on a radio for the New Mexico Museum of Natural History. Ken McKeon, who is a field paleontologist, wanted to interview me, and it was a pretty good interview. They talked about what got me interested in fossils, what advice could they give me on becoming a paleontologist and a potential scientist. And so I've been on the radio. I've been into many different leaks. I'm on a website called Georgia's Fossils, and I'm there as an amateur paleontologist and geologist. Just recently, on April 30th of 2016, I was on my first fossil dig to northwest Georgia in the Conasauga Formation, and we found just hundreds and hundreds of trilobites. This is one sample I've collected. This is called Espalassas brachyphasis, and this is a trilobite coming from the Upper Cambrian of the Conasauga Shale Formation. And I've been doing a little bit of work with that. I recently sent off a specimen. My first specimen was sent off to Columbus State University, and this is Espalassas butsy, and this is the first species found in I believe, the northeastern part of the Conasauga Formation. And so I've been doing lots of research in paleontology, dinosaur evolution, and different types of geology subjects around in my state. Recently, I went to the Fernbank, and there was a large dinosaur exhibit. hoping to go again soon. So I've been talking to a lot of geologists. I met my first geologist when I was in fourth grade, going to rock and mineral shows, and I've been going ever since, looking at minerals and purchasing mineral specimens, and expanding my collection, expanding my knowledge on the subjects of paleontology and geology. And people say that I'm very knowledgeable about the subject, and I believe that myself. I mean, there's still, of course, lots and lots of loads of information to learn, but a lot of people say that it's a little bit strange from a kid my age who knows so much about fossils and so much about minerals and is very passionate about the subject. And so, yeah, paleontology is what I want to do. It's what I love. I also met a couple of geologists. I met Dr. Pamela Gore from Georgia State University. It used to be called Georgia Perimeter College, but it's now connected to the Georgia State University system. I met Dr. Tony Martin, or Dr. Anthony Martin. He's a ichnologist and a paleontologist and geologist who studies trace fossils. I've recently met Bill Witherspoon, who is a geologist, and him and Dr. Pamela Gore, who they've written a book called Roadside Geology of Georgia, and I was able to get mine signed by Dr. Pamela Gore. When I first saw her, my heart started pounding because I knew exactly who she was, and I was a big fan of hers, of her geological research, and I'm glad I was able to meet Dr. Pamela Gore. Next weekend, I have a couple of lectures for the Fernbank Science Center for Earth Science Week. I'll be meeting geologist Scott Harris. He's a planetary geologist, and I'll be doing a couple of lectures on fossils and bringing some fossil and mineral specimens to the Fernbank Science Center and educating people on paleontology and geology, and be doing a couple of my own lectures. One's going to be on chronoids, the other one's going to be on, I believe it's going to be on trilobites. That's what it was. That's what it is. It's going to be on trilobites, and that's on October 15th of 2016, and so I'll be doing a little bit of that. I love doing lectures. My first lecture was on dinosaur paleobiology. My second lecture was on dinosaurs from the state of Georgia. My third lecture was on trilobites from Georgia, from the Conasauga Formation. And my fourth one was on crinoids. And I have a couple of other lectures coming up. Even one at a school. A school picked me, an elementary school in Tequila, Georgia, picked me to do some lectures for children on paleontology and geology. And so, yes, ladies and gentlemen, fossils are amazing, and like I said at the beginning of my video, I'm a time traveler. I go out and I study fossils and I study minerals, and I put myself back in time. I mean, here's a folded piece of mica schist. This comes from North Carolina. That's a folded piece. Now, how did it get that way? There's only one force that does that. That's tectonic forces. And so this microschist was squished, and it was squeezed. So, ladies and gentlemen, fossils are amazing, and you have the potential to travel back in time just like I do. This is Paleo 101, and I'll see you later with another video.